Hello everyone. This is a continuation of module 4, that is dynamic programming. In this video I have covered one algorithm which comes under dynamic programming, that is finding the transitive closure using the Warshall's algorithm, which I have not covered in the previous video. Warshall's algorithm is one example of the dynamic programming which is used to find the transitive closure of the given graph. It is introduced by S. Warshall, that is why the name is Warshall's algorithm. Using this algorithm, we can construct the transitive closure of the given directed graph with n vertices through the series of n by n Boolean matrices, which is indicated as R0, R1, R2, so on up to Rn. As I told, so this is a dynamic programming example. So here the series of subdecisions are made in order to get the final solution. So all R0, R1, R2 are the subdecisions made here, and Rn is the final solution what we get, which is actually the transitive closure of the given graph with the n vertices, and it is a n cross 1 Boolean matrix. Finally what we get, and all of these R0, R1, R2, all of these are n cross n Boolean matrices. Now before going to the algorithm, let us understand what do you mean by transitive closure of the directed graph. So the definition goes like this: the transitive closure of the given directed graph with n vertices can be defined as the n by n Boolean matrix in which element in the ith row and jth column is 1 if there exists a non-trivial directed path from the vertex I to the vertex j, otherwise it is 0. So the transitive closure is similar to the adjacency matrix, that is, it is also a Boolean matrix wherein you have got only two possible values, either 1 or 0. So when it is 1, if you take any vertex I and j, if there is a direct path, if there is a path of positive length from I to j, then the corresponding entry Tij is equal to 1. If there is no path, then it is equal to 0. So let us see one example. This is an example of how to find the transitive closure of a given digraph. So here we have got a graph with 4 vertices A, B, C and D. It is a directed graph, or we can call it as digraph. The corresponding adjacency matrix also I have written. So you know what is adjacency matrix. It is a 4 cross 4 matrix. Since here there are 4 vertices, so this is a 4 cross 4 matrix in which the entries are 0 if there is no edge between the vertex I and j. The entries are 1 if there is edge from the vertex I and j. So if you take the first row, if you take this A to A, there is no edge from A to A, so the entry is 0. So there is an edge, directed edge from A to B, so the entry is 1. There is no edge from A to C, so the entry is 0. There is no edge from A to D, that is why the entry is 0. So similarly we have got second row, third row as well as the fourth row. So this is the adjacency matrix. Next is the transitive closure. What is a transitive closure? So as I have told in the definition, transitive closure is also a matrix, n cross n matrix, in which the entries are 1 if there is a path between the vertex I to j. So if you take the first row, so A to A, if there is a path, now see the vertex here, A. So
there is a path from A to A. We are checking whether A is reachable from A. So you can reach A, that is, you can go from A to B, B to D, and D to A. So, which says that A is reachable from A. That is why the entry is 1 here. Similarly, you take A to B. So, this is direct. So, B is directly reachable from A. That is why the entry is 1. Next, A to C. So, from A to B, B to D, D to C. So, C is also reachable from A. That is why the entry is 1. Next is A to D. So A to D, that is A to B, then B to D. There is also a path from A to D. D is reachable from A. That is why all the entries are ones. Similarly, in the second row also, all the entries are ones. All the vertices B, C, D are reachable from B. Next, the third row from C. That is, you can see there is no edge from C. There is no directed edge from C. That is why there is no way to reach any of the vertex. So you cannot reach A, you cannot reach D, you cannot reach B. That is why all the entries are zeros over there. So that is how we find the transitive closure of the graph.
Let us look into the pseudocode of the Warshall's algorithm. So from the pseudocode of this Warshall's algorithm, you can see the input to the Warshall's algorithm is a adjacency matrix A of a digraph with n vertices. So it is a matrix with n rows and n columns. And the output of the algorithm is the transitive closure of the given digraph. So initially what we do is, so here since it is a dynamic programming, we are building the solutions from the series of sub-solution. So initially we have got only the adjacency matrix that we assign to R0. So then we build Rn, that is finally we get the solution Rn. So which we will not get directly from R0. We start from R0, then we go to R1, then we go to R2, R3, so on up to Rn, where n is nothing but the number of vertices. So how we build this? So here we have got 3 loops. The first loop is from k, for k 1 to n, for I 1 to n, for j 1 to n, and rk. So here k is nothing but the index of these matrices. So here we have got R0. So first we have got R0. Next is R1. So k takes the value 1, and the last one, that is the output, will be stored at Rn. So while building each time when we build the solution, rk I comma j is equal to rk minus 1. That is, we are using the previous value. We are using the previous matrix rk minus 1 ij, or is a bitwise operator here, or rk minus 1 ik and rk minus 1 kj. So here two operations we are using, or and. So rk minus 1 I comma k and rk minus 1 k comma j, it is ORed with the rk minus 1 I comma j. So this we repeat until all the for loops becomes false. Finally we get the solution which is stored in R of n. Now let us apply this Warshall's algorithm to the graph.
This is the application of Warshall's algorithm for this graph. So this is the same example which I have shown. How to apply the Warshall's algorithm on this graph in order to find the transitive closure. So the algorithm I have shown you already. What you have to do is, as step 1, you have to initialize the adjacent matrix to R of 0. This R is nothing but the matrix. So finally Rn will be having the answer, final answer. So this is the sub-solution now. R0 is the sub-solution. R0 is nothing but A. So I have written the adjacency matrix as it is as in the R0. So 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1 and so on. Now how to find R1? How to find R1? So you know that we have got a formula here. Rk of ij. Now k starts from 1 to n. So the initial value of k is 1. So in order to find R1, now we are finding R of 1. So in order to find R of 1, and this represent the individual element. So Rij is equal to R1 of 1 comma 1, that is the first element. 1 comma 1 is the first element. That is equal to R0. So here k minus 1. That means we are using the previous result. So previous result we have R0, that we are making use of. So R0 of 1 comma 1. So that is the element. As it is, we are considering the previous element. Or, so this is the operation that we have to apply. Or R0 of ik. So here I is 1, k is also 1. So 1 comma 1 and R0 of 1 comma 1. So here this is actually the same element. 0 or 0 and 0, which is actually 0 itself. So then j will get incremented. The innermost loop is j. So j will get incremented. J becomes 2. So everywhere you have to replace j by 2. So this will become R1 of 1 comma 2. That is equal to R0 of 1 comma 2 or R0 of I and k, that will remain same, 1 comma 1, and R0 of 1 comma j, that is 2. So that is the with respect to the second element. So like this, if you keep on incrementing the value of j, when j goes beyond 4, so this loop will get terminated, so then I will get incremented. So like this we will continue. When this condition of this for loop becomes false, so it will come out and here k will get incremented. So we will repeat this for all the elements inside the matrix. So now if you trace like this, if you keep on changing the values of I and j, what you can observe is, so from R0 to R1. So if you want, you can apply, you can try for all the values of k, I and j, and you can trace the algorithm. So actually there is one shortcut method to find the transitive closure. So you need not find each and every element. So when you trace for one of the matrix, you will have the idea what is that conclusion or what is that observation. So the observation is, when you come from R0 to R1, there will not be any change to the first row and the first column elements. So there will not be any change. That is, when you come from R0 to R1, there will not be any change for the first row and the first column element. That is why I have written these elements as it is. 0, sorry, this should be 1, 0, 1, 0, 0 and 0, 0, 0, 1. The elements are written as it is. The remaining elements can change. These elements can change. Now for these elements, actually you are applying this, but there is one simple method to apply. So that is why I have drawn a graph on this first row and the first column. So using those elements which are there inside the box, we are finding the remaining elements which should come here in R of 1. So now how to find this element? How to find what should come here? Now if we have to find what should come over here, so you have to use the previous result. Previous result is there in r of 0. So in the same position, what is there in the previous result? So that is rk, r0 of I comma j. So that is nothing but the same element 0. So I will write 0 as it is. And then the operation is OR. So I'll write like this. OR is the operation. And next, these two elements. See, these two elements you will get it from this box actually. So inside the box, so this is the box. So here the first column and the first row. So this element is present in the first row and the second column. Second column, second row. So now you just see inside the box, in the same row, which element is present. So this is the element. So this is what we are going to find. So in the same row, inside the box, we have got 0. So write that 0 as it is. And in the same column, inside the box, what is there? We have got 1. So and these two. So 0 or 0 and 1. So what we get? We get the answer as 0. So I will write that as 0. So what we did? We have used these values, this and this. So similarly for the next entry for this one, what I have to do? So this is the element as it is, I will write 0 and then the operation is OR. In the same row, inside the box, what we have? We have 0. In the same column, inside the box, what we have? 0. So 0 or 0 and 0, that is nothing but 0 only. So next element is this one, 1. So for that again, this element you take as it is, 1 as it is. Inside the box, in the same row, what is there? 0. Inside the box, in the same column, what is there? 0. 1 or 0 and 0. So the answer is 1. So next what we have? Next we have got 0. So this again 0 or 0 and 1. So that is 0 itself. 0 or 0 and 0. Again that is also 0. 0 or 0 and 0, that is also 0. 0, see, look at this, 0 or 1 and 1. In the same row you have 1, in the same column you have 1. So, it is 0 or 1 and 1. So, that is nothing but 1. So, 0 or 1 is nothing but 1. Next for this one, 1 or 1 and 0. So that is also 1. And next here 0 or 1 and 0. So that is nothing but 0. So this is what we have in R1 of 1. So only one element that is changed when we come from R0 to R1, that is this one. So the other elements are same. Now we have to calculate R2. Now to calculate R2, again you have to use the same method. That is when we go from R1 to R2, second row and second column elements will not change. Second row, this is second row, so I will put a box here, and second column. So these elements will not change. And also to find the remaining elements, we are making use of these values which are inside the box. Now how do you find 2? So now to find this value, what should come at this place here? So what you have to do? You have to inside the box, you have to check inside the box in this same row what value is there. This value I will write as it is 0, or inside the box in the same row what we have 1. In the same column what we have 0. So 0 or 1 and 0, that is nothing but 0 itself. So here we have the value 0 itself at this position. Next is this one. So in order to find this 1, so if we have to, that will not change. This value will not change because that is in the second row. When I told you when you come from R1 to R2, the values of second column will not change, values of the second row will not change. Only the remaining value you have to calculate. If you have to calculate what should come in this position, so you take this value 0 as it is, 0, or in the same row what we have got? 1. In the same column what we have got? 0. So 0 or 1 and 0, so that will remain as 0 only. Next, if you have to find the value over here, so this value if you have to find, so this in the, yes, so this is 0, first value is 0, 0, or in the same row what value you have got inside the box, that is 1. In the same column which value you have got in the same inside the box, that is also 1. 0 or 1 and 1, that will become 1. So that is one of the value what has changed from R1 to R2. When we go to R2, this value has changed. So same thing you have to repeat for this as well as for these values. So next, when you go from R2 to R3, so third row and third column values will not change. That is why I have drawn a box. So what are the remaining values that you have to calculate? While calculating, you have to apply the same formula, and the values, these values are from the same row and same column inside the box. Similarly, when you go from R3 to R4, the last row, fourth row and fourth column values will not change. So I have drawn a box over there, and then I have applied the same method to calculate R4 also. So finally we got this answer. So this one, so if you want me to show one example over here, so to calculate the value at this position, so this position, so this value is 0, I will write as it is 0, and then inside the box in the same row what we have? 1. In the same column what we have got? 1. So 0 or 1 and 1, that will become 1. So again this also 1 or 1 and 1. So that is also 1. So like this you have to calculate for all the entries, and you will get the transitive closure. So just compare this with the transitive closure what we have calculated for this graph. So that should be same. So instead of applying this for each and every element, so you can make use of the shortcut method. So starting from the first one, initially you have to assign the adjacency matrix as it is to R0. Then when you calculate R1, you have to put a box for first row and first column. Those values will not change, and for the remaining values you have to apply this formula and you have to calculate. So you have to repeat this till Rn. So here n is nothing but 4. Here there are 4 vertices. So you have to repeat this till for R4, and what you get at R4, that is your transitive closure. So I hope you understood how to apply the Warshall's algorithm for the given graph. This is one of the important topic in this dynamic programming method. So please understand the algorithm, take the example and trace the example to get the final transitive closure of any directed graph. Thank you.